Stampers, this is Dawn from DawnStampingThoughts.net, and today we're going to make this card. But I got this one from my friend Linda Bowen. She had sent me this thank you note, and look, she decorated the inside too with the leaves and another piece of the lemon. How sweet. So I'm just going to reduplicate her card, but just change the colors up a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you'll notice on the background on this side piece right here is the bouquet technique. I have a video on this that I think I posted last year, but I'm just going to give you a highlight video on how I did that really quick. So I'm using the Whisper White cardstock, and this is just cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm just going to flip it over. I'm going to show you kind of like what I did really quick. So the two colors I'm using are the Daffodil Delight and the Pumpkin Pie. And I'm going to start with the Daffodil Delight first. I'm going to take my stamping sponge, and I'm just going to randomly sponge all over the Whisper White. Okay, so the next color I would add is the Pumpkin Pie. I think in my video that I did last year, I think I used 3 colors, but this one for like a springtime card, I just figured I'd go with the orange and the daffodil. Okay, so you basically get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm filling in all the white space with the 2 colors, and then I finished this side already, so then the next step would be to add the circles. So then today I'm using a piece of vellum cardstock. I think in my video that I posted last year, I used a window sheet. But I went ahead and punched out with the Big Shot and the circle framelits 3 different sizes of circles. And then we're going to use the Whisper White craft ink. Okay, this one I'm going to use my sponge dauber, and I'm going to just randomly put the circles onto this piece of Whisper White cardstock. And then you're just going to sponge the Whisper White over top of that. Okay, so that's pretty much how I did the bouquet background. And I already have one cut here, so I can show you what the finished one looks like. All right, so now let me give you the measurements of all the other pieces. Okay, so we're using the Daffodil Delight cardstock. This is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then a piece of Whisper White, which is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then the bouquet background, which is cut at 2 inches by 5 1/4. And then the Pumpkin Pie cardstock is cut at 2 1/8 by 5 3/8. That's going to layer behind this piece. Then for the lemonade cup, you're going to need a piece of vellum cardstock and Whisper White, and these are both cut at 2 1/2 by 4. And then for the straw, I'm just using a piece of designer paper from the It's My Party designer paper pack. And this is cut at about 1/4 inch wide by however long you want it to stick out of your cup. Okay, so now let's grab our trimmer. Okay, so we're going to cut both pieces the same way. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 1/2 by 4 piece of vellum, and you're going to line it up with this arm side over here at 1/2 inch. And you're going to take your scoring blade, and you're just going to make a little tiny mark so you can see it where to cut. Turn your cardstock over and do the same thing, 1/2 inch. And this time I'm going to make the little mark at the top, because you're making the marks at the bottom, just like that. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing with the Whisper White piece, 1/2 inch, and then make a little score mark, flip it around, 1/2 inch. We're going to do the top part. Okay. So now we're just going to take this point here, and we're going to cut it down at a diagonal to that little mark that we made with the score blade. Just like that. Okay? And we're going to flip it around and do the same thing. Take the score line, little mark, down to the point, and cut. Okay? Now, you could actually take this and use it as a template and then just hand cut it. But since I already went ahead and marked it, I'll just go ahead and cut it really quick. Okay, so now these 2 pieces should line up perfectly. just like that. Okay, so we're using the stamp set Apple of My Eye, and this is in the Occasions catalog until May 31st. We're using the little slice of the lemon, which I'm going to have it represent a lemon. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that twice with the Daffodil Delight. Just stamping it on a piece of Whisper White. Okay, then we're going to take the Sahara Sand and we're going to stamp the little lemon seeds with that color. Okay, then we're going to take the 1 3/4 circle punch. Okay, so now we're just going to take our scissors and we're going to cut a slit. Actually, I'm going to cut it this way here. Cut a slit. And then this one we're just going to cut in half. So it's going to be like a little wedge. The lemon, cute. Okay, so next we're going to take the Daffodil Delight and we're going to sponge the ink onto the vellum cardstock. So let me grab my scrap. I'm just going to leave the top of the cup like a rim of the cup. So I'm just going to go ahead and sponge this up. So once you add your ink, you're going to want to let that set to dry. You can put your heat gun to it to speed up the drying process, but I went ahead already and finished one, and I added actually a couple coats of the daffodil because I wanted it really bright and summery looking. So just remember, you just want it dry before you put the card together. So now we're just going to go ahead and build our card. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and put our lemonade glass together. So next you're going to take your straw, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the back side of that. You're going to put this on the Whisper White cup, just like that. And then you're just going to trim off however much you want of the straw sticking out of the cup. Now I had made a card like this with the lemonade cup, but it was like 3D, so it curved. And this was such a cute card because it's already flat. Because with the lemonade cup that I made years ago, it was kind of curved and it would get flattened in the mail. But this is already flat, so that's what I really loved about it. Alright, so now we're just going to take some glue dots, and I'm going to put 2 at the bottom right. It sticks to my finger. And then I'm going to take 1 mini glue dot and put it up in the top corner, just like that. Alright, now this would be the time if you want to stamp on your cup, like Linda did here. She stamped the thank you onto the cup, or you can just stamp it on the panel. I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on the cup today, and I'm going to use the thank you just like Linda did. Okay, so I'm going to use the black archival ink, and we're going to use the thank you that's from the same stamp set, Apple of My Eye. And I'm just going to kind of take this lemon wedge and just kind of position it where it's going to sit over top of the card. Plus it's going to camouflage those little mini glue dots. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it right about there. Okay, super cute. Alright, so I think that's all the stamping. So now we're just going to go ahead, make sure that's dry. And we're just going to go ahead and adhere the Whisper White piece to the vellum cup. Just like that. Okay, so then we're just going to like position this little wedge there. And then you're going to take your lemon wedge right here, just set that onto the top of the cup. Then I'm going to flip this over. I just want to make sure that black doesn't smear. I'm going to take some dimensionals, I'm going to put it right behind the wedge and then a few onto the cup. Okay, then we're going to take our card base, just put it in the center. So cute. Then this little wedge is going to get a dimensional. I'm going to put it onto the right hand side on the back because it's going to sit off of the cup, and the cup is already raised up with the dimensionals, so I don't want it to be kind of lopsided. Okay, so we're just going to sit it right there like that. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so cute. Thank you, Linda, for your card. I absolutely loved it. Okay, so there's Linda's. And then here's the one that I made. Oh, and then this one I added the dazzling diamonds along the top of the fine tip glue pen was for the glitter at the top edge. Isn't it pretty? Okay, so that's it. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later. Bye. this done from Dawn's Tipping Thoughts.net.